What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name is Naomi. Welcome to House of Miscellania. Today I'm coming at you with a WIP and chat. WIP stands for work in progress. And I am going to catch you up on my last week that I went through and then chat with you, usually something mental health related, kind of wrapped up into each other this week. And then I usually, at the end, I grab us a tarot card from the Fairies Oracle and I read us a card on the top for a thought for the week, which those will come in later. Let me get into my tools very quickly so that I can get that done and over with. And actually, they're going to look really familiar. I've been using the same ones for a while now. But in case you don't know, my pen here, this is from Diamond Pen Pal. This is the Satura pen. And last I knew, Diamond Pen Pal on Etsy still had some copies of this version, but not this chunky version of the pen, but this same pen. The blank, anyways, is the same. In my single placer, I have Ghost from Diamond Painting Daily. I always do. I believe I linked it down in the description, but some people were asking me how you use Ghost, and I did make a video. It is in my tutorials playlist if you're looking for it. But Ghost is sort of like a glue dot. It starts out liquid and then goes into solid. It starts off white and turns clear, hence the name Ghost. And it makes your end sticky while not making it so sticky that you can't take the diamonds off. And if you do, you just dirty it up a little bit and it works just fine. Then in my multi-placer, I am going to fill up with some Putty Crocker's Boutique and more. You can find Putty Crocker on both Facebook and the website for Putty Crocker. This is Easter Basket, and it is like a floral bouquet. And then I've got right here my white plain old tray from Firefly. Firefly is over at fireflyda.com. This is the Switch Mini Max. The Switch Mini Max has a removable lid, which I usually do. It also has a removable trash tray, which I usually do take out, just put to the side, and then an open and close pour spout, along with this little hole in the top right here, so you can put your pen in it and your pen won't roll away. Pretty handy stuff like that. And then the diamond painting that I am working on, you get a little sneaky peeky right there of her beautiful face. This is Persephone of Spring from Diamond Art Club by Chrisabug. She is 62 colors in square, 60 centimeters by 76.9. And we are right over in this area here. But anyways, that's what I've got going for you. And then I do want to disclaimer, a little side note, that I am going to be talking about sensitive topics today, following a little bit of chitty chat, but I did want to give you a forewarning that I will be discussing a family member's recent death, along with, not like in details or anything, but along with the death of my mother from 6 years ago, almost. And then I will also be talking about addiction recovery. So if any of those are a trigger for you, or you don't want to have that today, that's totally fine. I have lots of other content that you can check out. In fact, last week's video was pretty interesting. If you want to learn a little more about synesthesia, you can go ahead and go back to my WIP and Chat episode 48. So I'm not really gonna like totally bummer anybody out. That's not, I tend to try to take the negative and find a way to talk through how, not we make it a positive, because it's really hard to make death a positive, but ways that you can cope or move through it. And so I'm not going to be focusing on the, the negatives of that. I just wanted to forewarn, because, some people are very sensitive to that sort of thing. So anyways, all that said, that's not until a little later anyways. Look at me moving my hands all around like I'm going to give you a freaking motion sickness. Okay, so I'm actually going to open 2 sections. I know, risky. But there's so much color blocking in here that I tend to get a lot done in a short amount of time. I don't think I'm going to finish this before the whip and chat is over, but because it's only an hour. Though who knows, if I'm feeling like I'm on a roll talking about something and I just decide to go longer, then we'll go longer. But that's not really the plan. So anyways, all that said, how are you guys, honestly, this week? Let me know down in the comments what you've got going on with your week. Have you been doing well? Did you check out any of my recent recommendations for, viewing content, either YouTubers or any of the shows I have kind of suggested to you or whatever? Because I've been watching some other stuff that I will have a recommendation for. But again, we'll save that till the end. Aside from that, would really genuinely like to know how you're doing. There's not been as many comments lately on my whip and chat, so I'm like, God, nobody's watching it. It's okay if you're not, but I'll keep making them until you decide to come back and see me again. So my week, it's been like the weather has been all over the map in Wisconsin. We've gone from, like, we had a 55-degree day, and then it dropped to 3 degrees, and then it raised up again just to drop right back down. And that can be really, really killer on the body, especially if you are a person who, like me, suffers from some issues with regard to, like, carpal tunnel, or you have issues with, sorry, I'm looking for my color here. My kid's phone just made a sound. I don't know what that was, but I think it was a text alert. Anyways, it was interesting. If you have carpal tunnel, if you have, back problems, I have some herniated discs in my back, and so having the weather like up and down, it's really, really killer on the body. And so I've been kind of dealing with that. And then sleep is kind of like all over the place. I mean, that's me anyways, just because I sleep for garbage. But it does make sleeping very difficult because I'm struggling to get comfortable, or I get comfortable and then I'm in a place for too long and I wake up and I feel like my rib cage is collapsing in on itself. Does anybody else experience that? It's very strange. It's like it really does feel like my ribs are collapsing, like they're just crushing into my body. And so I have to spend some time like legitimately deep breathing just to make it feel like my lungs are expanding. It's not great. It's not fun. And I probably seriously need like a readjustment, or an adjustment, I guess I should say, at the chiropractor. But I don't know. I'm really stubborn and just don't go. It's really my own fault. I have literally nobody to blame but myself. But that all said, I have also, like I said, been, oh, I forgot. I had to pick these up off the floor. So there's like some dirt and whatnot in here. So to watch that. I have been watching a lot of different shows. Now, again, I'll save recommendations and things. You know what? No, I'm going to go ahead now and give you some recommendations for shows because I've been watching some really interesting stuff. One that I found on Netflix, I've watched it a bunch of times, but I sort of did a binge watch of the whole thing. It's just one season, sadly, but it's called The Big Flower Fight. It is a British competition show. much like a like Great British Bake Off sort of vibe, right? Where the contestants are competing in this like greenhouse or even outside where they're making sculptures or topiary or mobiles or whatever out of either, some are, they have to use live plants, some they have to use cut flowers, some they have to use dried flowers or whatever. And they have to build these, sculptures or whatever out of the plant mediums. And because it is a British show, like a competition show, they're not like overly um they're not overly like mean to each other. The judges aren't harsh for no reason. It's just not that kind of show. And I really enjoy it. It's sort of like a feel good thing for me. And this is going to sound really weird, but I really enjoy, like, I can't sleep without sound. So I tend to have my phone going with some sort of a show just to have, sound to listen to. And I tend toward picking things where they have British accents. I don't know what it is. It just puts me right to sleep uh, with no issues whatsoever. And I do thoroughly enjoy a big flower fight. And then what the problem is, though, sometimes when I find a new show that I really like, then I have a difficult time going to sleep because I want to watch whatever it is, not just, listen. So I tend to, if I'm going to be trying to sleep, then I will not watch something that's new. I'll watch something that I've seen so many times that I could practically quote it, because then I'm not like anxious to see what's happening on the screen. I can just go to bed. But that's one. I found this one that I've been watching or that I was watching while diamond painting, and I'll probably watch it again just because I tend to watch something and then I'll go back and watch it again, make sure I didn't miss anything, or if I caught plot points after the fact, I can go, oh, see, here's where the director clued you in on XYZ thing or whatever. And from a former director standpoint, it is really interesting to see where the director of the cast or the director of photography. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Beans is upstairs in my eldest daughter's room, which will eventually become my craft room. And he has this habit as a Pyrenees where he will scratch on the floor. It's almost like he's trying to make it more comfortable for himself. We have hardwood floors, so it's very loud when he does it. So if you heard that, I apologize. That's what he was doing. It's not just like somebody trying to scratch their way into my home. No, where was I? Oh, so I tend to watch, like I said, things over so I can catch the plot points, because as a former director myself of stage performances and improv performances, I like to watch for those sorts of things. Like, I love to see where, you know, you can tell that the actors have been given notes to, perform something in this or that way. And obviously, some of these actors are very, very talented people, and they know when to, take a dramatic pause or whatever, especially where British people are concerned, because holy crap, fantastic acting in the UK generally. But uh, I like to watch it from that point of view, as well as just an entertainment point of view, but I like to see what I might have missed the first time. And this one in particular, it's not like a murder mystery or anything like that. It kind of starts out as a like a mystery generally. It's called Toxic Town. on Netflix, and it is about this town in Colby, Scotland, where the women of the town, while, their husbands or friends or family members or whatever are working on the reclamation project of this particular area that had a steel factory. They're discovering that because, the council of Colby was not paying attention to safety hazards, things like that, making sure that like the trucks were covered properly or that the wheel wells were washed properly, that their trucks are like getting cadmium everywhere. I won't say specifically how it's getting everywhere because that's kind of part of the, mystery or whatever of the show. But it's really good, really, really good. It has the actress that plays Eloise in Bridgerton in it, but she's like a full on adult person because, the actress is kind of a full on adult person. And she's a mother in it. And what they're finding in the show is that the cadmium, while the women were pregnant, it affected them so that, a large percentage of the women had children born with like lower limb birth defects. Many were missing fingers or toes or, feet, limbs entirely. And it's sort of like a, little Aaron Brockovich feel where this mom, she's trying to discover like what went wrong in her pregnancy, that her son was born without fingers on his one hand. And, it's kind of like her fight throughout everything. And it is based on a true story of what happened in Colby. But, the characters obviously are fictitious representations of the mothers there or of the lawyers that were involved or whatever. Like they tell you at the end that, the mothers are representative of many mothers from Colby back in the day, or that the lawyer is representative of, so many lawyers that worked on justice for these mothers or whatever. It's very, very, very good. I think there's only one season. Like it's just like a whole thing done. But it is, I think there's like 6 episodes. It's not long. Like it's not a huge, story to tell, generally, but it also has the guy, he's Scottish, and he plays in Once Upon a Time as Rumpelstiltskin, if anybody remembers Once Upon a Time, which I have not watched in ages. But it has the guy who plays Rumpelstiltskin. He's like a council member in the show, and it's really good. Do highly recommend it. If you like that sort of thing, it's sort of like a true drama. It's good stuff. It's not scary. It's just by the end, it's a feel good kind of movie because, spoiler alert, like the mothers do end up getting justice for the lack of oversight on the council's part, and it's just really good stuff. And then I've also been watching Face Off because I noticed there's several seasons that I just never got around to watching somehow. That is a makeup challenge show. It's an American show, also on Netflix, and they're like makeup artists, but doing like special effects makeup, not the other one that I really like, which is Glow Up, which is a British makeup competition, but they're like actually like makeup artists who do more than just special effects and things like that. They have, like challenges that are special effects in Glow Up, but Face Off is just mostly like monster makeups and things like that. But yeah, that's what I've been watching this week while diamond painting, and I've gotten myself pretty far. This one I started on Scoop a chair. When did I start this one? I kitted it up on the 17th, and I feel like I started it the same day or the next day of February. No. Yes. I don't remember. I think I started this one the same day that I kitted it up. But it's not been very long. I've just been... I did like a row, a small row of it, and then I held off until the first, and then I've just kind of been working my way through it. It's pretty color blocky, or color blobby, as I like to say. So it's really not taking a long time to get through, and I'm happy about that. I've been enjoying my diamond painting time, but I got some news, and trigger warning, this is where I'll be talking about some heavier topics. So if you hung around this long and you were like, well, she didn't talk about anything heavy, I'm going to now, because this morning... Oh, no. Let me start out by saying I have an update on the mouse that was found in the house. Did I update you guys on that? Well, it got loose. I remember I told you guys that. Well, I found it actually. He was stranded in the bathtub, and I ended up we caught him with a live trap. He actually just walked right into the live trap, and then the kids drove him down like several blocks away down by the river. And so he no longer lives in the house, but he went right back to the bathroom where he was found initially, which I found funny. But he had climbed the shower curtain, I'm assuming looking for water, ended up in the bathtub and couldn't get himself back out because the shower curtain was outside of the bathtub, not in it. So little mousy, they named him Booker, I guess. He does not live here anymore. House mouse breed that became house mouse actual is now an outside mouse down by the river. So for those who were wondering whatever happened with that mouse that the kids took in, that is what happened with the mouse that the kids took in. He chewed through his cage and got loose, and then ended up stranding himself in the bathtub, and we caught him with, like, he literally walked into a live trap and they took him down to the river. So that's his new life. And that happened like the day after my WIP and chat last week. So I'm glad I remembered to bring it up because I almost forgot. So some really crappy news this morning, and actually some really crappy news yesterday, and like throughout the day. I consider Melissa from Art and Soul to be, I mean, at least a close acquaintance. She knows me. We've chatted with each other. I have offered my help with things like customer service, or you'll notice that I have some unboxings on my channel, and I talk to Melissa pretty often. And without going into the details around the closing of Art and Soul, if you would like information about the closing of Art and Soul, you can go and read those messages on their Facebook page for more information. But at least for now, until further notice, if Melissa should happen to, hopefully, fingers crossed, hoping that Melissa changes her mind and decides to keep the company going. For now, I won't have any sneak peeks or early look unboxings or anything on my channel from Art and Soul. And I am very, very sad about that. I am not going to, at least publicly, out on YouTube here or in, you know, text settings or whatever. I'm not going to really give too much of my opinion on that, except to state that it's a very unfortunate situation. Whatever parties are involved with the closing of Art and Soul, I wish that you all could have kept things just between you guys, because ultimately it does not affect the community at large. Like, it's a source for gossip, and that's really unfortunate. But to, like, go out of your way to shut a business down or to libel or slander a business so much that you end up, by command or not, your people going and saying really terrible and disgusting things to Melissa about business practices and things like that, when they don't have all the facts. We don't have all the facts. It's not our business to have the facts, but that they would go back to Melissa and say really awful, hurtful, terrible things really is too bad. That's really just too bad. And it affects more than just Melissa at the end of the day. Like, if that's who your problem was with, it's not who it ended up affecting. It ended up affecting all of the artists from Art and Soul who are, you know, actual intelligence artwork, and some of them are not signed with other companies. There are some who they are still signed with other places, but there's some that are not and really deserve to be seen. Not because I say so, but because art, if it makes you feel something, does deserve to be seen. And it's really just a sad, sad situation. Again, if you want details on all of that, you can go and read Facebook posts and things like that. I'm not going to give a breakdown. I'm just going to say that I do really hope that after maybe some space and time between Melissa and all of the really horrible, deplorable messages that she's received from people, that she does end up changing her mind and keeping Art and Soul open. Because I have come to really care about Melissa, and by extension her husband Scott, whom I do not know. I've never spoken to Scott, but and to feel like, you know, she brought me in and made me feel like part of the Art and Soul family, when prior to Melissa taking over ownership of Art and Soul, I felt like kind of out on a limb. I didn't really know what was going on a lot of the times. She, you know, made herself very available to me to ask questions to, and, you know, understand a little better like what my role was with Art and Soul, and was just always very quick to answer questions or messages or whatever. And I'm so appreciative of every kit that has been sent to me by Art and Soul in every iteration, honestly. But the kits that I've been sent, that I have, you know, shown, unboxed on this channel and completed. I do have 2 that were sent to me to do like an early look unboxing, and then just, you know, kind of like a fresh look at the canvas. I'm still going to unbox those. I'm not going to talk about the situation when I unbox them, but I do feel like those artists still very much deserve to be seen. And again, I'm just hoping that with some time and space, that Melissa will and Scott, her husband, will decide to not fully close Art and Soul. But that was also not the bummer topic that I wanted to talk about. Look at me, fooling all of you, and we're half an hour in. I got some news this morning after the news of yesterday with the stuff with Art and Soul. Now, when you watch this, it's Wednesday. So I heard about Art and Soul on Tuesday, had been talking with Melissa, etc. And kind of that was in the works Monday, I believe it started. Well, when you are watching this, it's Wednesday. So Tuesday morning, I received a call from Dustin, and I'm taking a drink. He notified me that his dad's oldest brother had passed away after last week receiving an open heart surgery. He was taking a nap or sleeping, whatever, and his wife, my husband's Aunt Jane, found him, and he was cold to the touch. And what a terrible thing to find your loved one no longer alive, but did call an ambulance, and they attempted to revive, but obviously were not able, and they did end up pronouncing him dead. I think they did so like on the way to the hospital, though it was very clear when they arrived that revival was not really going to be possible. So they did transport him, and then I don't know what next steps are. Dustin's uncle was one of the kindest people I've met in my life. He reminded me a lot of Dustin's grandpa, whom I loved desperately, as though he were my own grandfather. And Uncle Bill, I've been with Dustin for 20 years. Like, his family is my family, right? So my Uncle Bill, he always came to functions. Like, he was at my son's graduation party and brought a very nice gift, and is just very very supportive of everything. Like, when I talked to him about having a YouTube channel, he didn't immediately start judging, what does that mean, whatever. Obviously had questions, but it was all very respectfully asked. It wasn't like a general eye roll and dismissive. He was always the kind of person to allow a person their dreams. Like, he's got 2 younger grandsons. I mean, now they're probably late teenagers, but late-aged teenagers, but he was just very loving, and with 2 teenaged grandsons, he was very much about, follow your dreams, do the things that you love to do the things that get you up in the morning. And that energy was always welcome at family functions, because he's just a generally nice guy, very much like his father was. And he was the oldest of Dustin's dad's brothers. So, Dustin's parents, they took it pretty hard. They decided to cut their Florida trip, which is usually until like April, really short, and they're coming home. So when the weather is clear and I go over and finish up pen work and things like that, they will be back over my shoulder again. Not excited about that, but I mean, obviously, they have to come home for funeral things and whatnot, because that's what you do. That's what you do. And especially when, you're when you love that family member and they treat you with respect and make you feel like you're an important human, like that's what you do for family. You drop what you're doing on your like vacation or whatever, and you go and show your support for their family. And so yeah, I get it. I ended up going over there today, which is Tuesday when when I record this, and I just helped to make sure that the house was cleaned up, the floor was mopped and whatever over at my in-laws, so that when they come home, they don't have to worry about doing things when they get there. They can just, relax, worry about the next steps, what they have to do, and because I'm sure that they'll be helping Bill's wife Jane with whatever she might need. And they're just, they're good people like that. Well, so I didn't think much about it, and it's been a while now to where it's not the first thing that pops into my head when March comes around anymore, because it's been 6 years. But it has been 6 years almost to the day since my mom passed away. The tattoo that I have here on my wrist is for my mom, and you can see here 3/6/19, although it's upside down. That is my mom's death date, and we're coming up on the 6th year anniversary, and I don't, and I'm not telling you all of this for sympathies or anything like that. Thank you for your sympathies if you've sent sympathies, or if you're planning to. Thank you. I am not as affected by everything, so I am funneling all, good vibes, well wishes, and things toward Dustin. And I'm not telling you about my mom to garner sympathy either, just merely talking about the fact that a kind of important anniversary is coming up. And, I got to thinking about the ways in which we grieve and we move through, and sometimes I think it can seem to others like I am very calloused, or that I don't care because I'm not like, crying my face off about things, or I'm not using it as an excuse. I gotta tell you, I feel like I have come a incredibly long way from when my mom passed away. I'm going to tell you a fact, and then this, if you want to throw an attaboy at me, I will accept. When I was cleaning my in-laws' house, both of my in-laws have had lots of surgeries. My mother-in-law is a breast cancer survivor. She's had multiple surgeries on, one, her breasts, to her knees, her ankle, like all of these different surgeries. And so both of my in-laws having surgeries all the time, like they just are all the time on pain medication, okay? And decades ago now, I became addicted to opiate pain medication. And while I was cleaning the freaking house, you guys, what should I sweep out from under my mother-in-law's chair but 2 Vicodin? And it was so, like, I literally patted myself on the back when it was easy for me to write a note on a blank sheet of paper, found these under your chair, and put them on the piece of paper and left them and just walked away from 2 Vicodin, where 6 years ago, this time of year, would not have been the case. My mother's death really was the impetus for my sobriety. And I'm not going to say that that's what pushed me to get clean or anything, because it wasn't. I needed to do it for myself. I needed to do it for me. There were a lot of factors that went into it. My mom's death was just sort of one of the catalysts for that decision. And I took what felt like a just a devastating loss and found a way to turn it into a positive gain. And that is not to say that, I don't miss my mom, or I didn't love my mom, or that I celebrate my mom's death because in order for her to die, I got to live. Nothing like that, but sort of. I do feel like I was able to view the real, like, shortness that is life in a different manner, and to live more for today rather than tomorrow or last week. And that was something that I desperately needed clarity in my life. And whenever people die, people that are close to me, people that are not, I try to stop and view it as an impetus for appreciating today and living for today and being in the present. And, mortality is, honestly, excuse my language, but fucking terrifying. To think that I'm getting deep into the fours, right? I'm not just 41 or 42. I am swiftly moving into the deep end of the fours. And then, you're into the 50s and 60s. And my mom died at 62. Bill, my husband's uncle that passed away, was not that old. I think he was maybe late 60s, early 70s. And I guess, that's when you approach the end of life. But holy balls, man, that doesn't seem far enough away. So I'm taking it, whenever someone dies, I'm trying to utilize that as an opportunity to, instead of panicking about my future and worrying what coulda, woulda, shoulda been, or what can be, or whatever, to really assess what am I happy about today? What would I change if I could, because I can? And what is successful or working well? What am I loving about my life? So I lost my mom. I decided to get sober, which was the best thing that I've ever done for myself. Honestly, one of the more selfish things that I did for myself, because I really focused on myself only. It helped that my kids were older and that I did not need to focus my attention on caring for them, but it was the right time. It was the right time, and I wouldn't have been able to do it another time. I don't think. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready then. And losing my mom helped me to gain perspective on, what are you doing? What are you really doing with your life? And so this death, I'm trying to, without, sounding like Mr. Brightside, because I'm not generally, I don't try to, a squeaky chair, I don't generally try to invalidate anyone's feelings about death or grieving or those things, because we all do those things differently. Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink. But far be it from me to invalidate someone else's experiences with death, and allowing yourself to grieve and being sad if you want to be sad. It's the idea of not taking that excuse and using it to my own benefit to make excuses about why I should be able to make bad decisions. Because that I won't do. That I won't stand for. Because that's what it would be, is an excuse. A poor me excuse on something that is 100% within my control. And just like the, death of my uncle, my husband's uncle, whatever, all the same. Just like the death of my uncle and the death of my mom were able to give me some perspective on what to do next and where to go next and how to get there. I'm hoping that those people who right now are at an impasse somehow and not sure how to move forward, that you can utilize this or whatever as a means or a method of not allowing yourself to use life's excuses to keep you from living for today, right now, and making better decisions for yourself right now for today. And I feel like while there are lots of things today that I'm going to want to do tomorrow because, I ran out of today to do it in, I really want to be better at not procrastinating everything so much that I'm regretting what I didn't do today. Because it can get that way. And yeah, I have setbacks. I have things that keep me from doing things in the order that I'd like to do them. My car, when it got very, very cold, my battery completely died. So I need to full on replace the battery, right? But my tire was also flat, like full flat. So I'm not going to be able to take my car anywhere or do anything with it until I can first replace the battery and then fill up the tire. And because it's been so flipping cold outside, I haven't been able to get it up on a jack to do that. It's a whole stupid thing. It's a whole stupid thing. And so I did the next to last round actually of prizes have been shipped out. I have the last group to send, and I am all finished with that. It's just, not having a vehicle definitely was a setback in that, because I can't walk to the post office, unfortunately. But that being said, I need to find a better way of getting things done more timely so that I don't feel like I'm failing people or I'm failing myself or whatever. There are things that need to get done, and it's not a matter of like I'm sitting here just not doing them. It's a matter of I have some roadblocks and I need to just stop sitting and making excuses for the roadblocks. I need to get the shit done, And there are so many distractions. Like I can honestly distract myself in so many ways. It's ridiculous. And I mean, autism being a minor acceptable excuse. It is not an acceptable excuse for just outright losing myself in whatever the hell other thing that I felt like doing more, But I need this weather to be better, and warmer at least, so that I can get my freaking car up on a jack, get the tire off of it, go and, because it was a slow leak that became a fast leak in the very, very cold. If I can get, the tire off, I can take it and just fill it with air, because it's not like it's just immediately going to deflate. It took forever for that to happen. Not forever, but long enough. And then I can, once a tire is on it, I'll be able to focus then on, battery stuff. Just, life crap. Not stuff that you need to worry about or that I'm trying to make excuses with. It's just, I need to focus in on getting the things done that either, were promised, or it's like, Naomi, prod yourself a little bit just to make sure that you're not using excuses to not do them, because I'm not. I just don't want them to turn into excuses, because that's very, very, very easy to do. And with everything, with deaths, with car trouble, with whatever, a person who is in recovery for addiction or alcoholism can honestly make an excuse out of anything as to why you couldn't do something, or you couldn't quit, or you couldn't, remember, or whatever. And I don't want to fall back into easy patterns of making up excuses, or even things that are legitimate excuses that every single day other people are able to get up and, work through, or whatever. Now, granted, obviously, when it comes time for funeral and things like that, I will be allowing myself space to breathe and to grieve and do those things. But for right now, I'm just trying to be supportive of Dustin and his family, and then the family of the departed, because I remember it wasn't easy to essentially be the younger sibling, but to be doing all the things because nobody else knew how and didn't want to take initiative to do it. So completely understand how that can be overwhelming for people, especially if you're either dealing with a loss, or you've dealt with a loss recently and you understand what it means to be the person who makes the decisions and does the stuff. It's not an easy place to be. And so if you've been in that position recently, I do commend you. And you're strong, you're beautiful, and you're powerful, and damn it, people like you. Okay? But really, no more bummer topics, okay? Not for this whip and chat anyway. I apologize to anyone who, I didn't want to put anything in your emotional backpack, but I do want you to know that it was merely informational. I am okay, and I am only okay because I have a wonderful support system, including you guys, and I remember to be present every single day and to be grateful every single day for the things that, I could be completely tricking myself out of right now, if not for my sobriety. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I want to read a tarot card. Who wants to hear a thought for the week? Because I am ready. Let's close these up so we don't get any sticky on our tarot card. Now, I've already shuffled these, and I've got our top card ready to go. When I was shuffling, when I shuffle, I sort of ask the cards to give me what I need, give me the words that I need this week, and that's what I do. And then while I'm shuffling them, tends to be a card pops out either by itself or with another one. And then I usually take the one that's on top because that's the one that is on top, right? And that is the message that I read, and that is the message that I have here. This one popped out, so this I'm gonna say in honor of my mom, who has been gone from this earth for 6 years as of the 6th, which is tomorrow when you're able to view this. I don't know when you're watching this, but the 6th of March. So I'm going to think of this as like mom's advice, right? What would mom tell me to do in my life, just generally with what I have going on right now? So here we go. This is what I've got. It is, oh, this is cute. Let me just make sure there's no nudes. Okay, no nudes. It is called The Fairy Who Was Kissed by the Pixies. Look at this dude up here. I don't know what that is, but it looks like a dog lion or something. I love this one here. He's got his little like beam coming out of his chest. He's like almost meditating. These guys are cute. And look at how happy she looks to have been kissed by the fairies. Look at this one. Or by the pixies. These are too cute. Brian Froud is such a fantastic artist, but The Fairy Who Was Kissed by the Pixies, number 21. Let's see what she says. 21. Ooh, butt. That was a butt. Okay, that's the dark lady. Next one. The Fairy Who Was Kissed by the Pixies. Oh! Okay, look at this. Love given, love received. Metaphorical open heart surgery. Wow. Okay. Okay. I see you cards. Huh. Interesting. All right. Starter reading. That's when it's right side up, not upside down. Oh, wow. That's what it says. Oh, wow. What can I say here? Love, sweet love. Accept it, burnish it up, add to it, and pass it on. The presence of the fairy who was kissed by the pixies suggests giving and receiving love and intimacy in any of a wide variety of relationships. She gives notice that this is a time to open and heal our hearts. Different aspects of life may well be flowing happily together, healing separations and hurts from the past. Bonding may take place and deep feeling emerge. Changes for the better may occur in all aspects of life, but especially in relationships, which may be deepening and becoming richer. You may be experiencing love therapy for opening the heart as new relationships begin and old ones develop. Enjoy. Okay, that's just, all right. Now, to me, I read this to be like, Naomi, changes for the better may occur in all aspects of life, but especially in relationships, which Dustin and I have a pretty great relationship as it is. He's very supportive of me. I'm very supportive of him. And I don't see that necessarily like turning into some, re-romance with each other or whatever. I feel like it's just a love that deepens between the two of us, and our bond becomes stronger. Our understanding of each other's needs, wants, desires become stronger. But it says, this is a time to open and heal our hearts, and you can receive love and intimacy in any of a wide variety of relationships. So it doesn't just have to be, Dustin. It could be deep kinship, friendship with people. And I will try to accept love, to burnish it up, add to it, and pass it on. I don't like to speak words of anger or hate or a message of anger or resentment. I don't try to do that. Sometimes I catch myself getting caught up in it, and you know, I do try to catch myself before I say something really just heinous or nasty about someone else. I don't always succeed. I don't. But, you know, Principal Painter says, and others, you know, are quoted often as saying, when you can be anything, be kind. And I think that that message is really important, especially right now. You know, we don't always think about what our words do to others, and if my words have hurt others, then I am sorry. I should choose my words more carefully if they did. Or, you know, don't be a feckin' hypocrite and know all the facts before speaking or whatever. Like, if I've said things and I've been wrong, then I admit that I was wrong. And I'll do better. I want to pass a message along of acceptance and of love, because really that's what's allowed me to continue down a path of sobriety and love and acceptance of myself, because there can be a lot of shame associated with being in recovery for addiction. And the worst thing that you can do is to perpetuate that feeling of not accepting someone and othering people. And so I need to take in that lesson. I need to take a deep breath. I need to remember that we're all human beings and we all have feelings, and all of our feelings matter and are valid. Even if some people are a little more manipulative in the way that they show their love or their acceptance. And it is not for me to judge another, especially where it concerns someone else's friendships or relationships with others. Like, I can only do what I can do for my relationships and the people that are important to me. And that isn't to say that if you're not important to me that you don't matter. It's just sometimes we have to narrow our focus in, show love to those who need love, and, you know, be generous with the actual praise, not just blowing somebody's head up a million times, but actual praise if people are kind, or actual praise if people are accepting and loving, because ultimately we can't do this without each other. Nobody can do life alone. People claim they can, but they are sorely mistaken. You have to have friends, even acquaintances or whatever, to move around in life safely and with confidence. So thank you. If you consider yourself a friend, you are. If you consider yourself an enemy, I guess you are. But I want to love my enemy as I love my friends. Even if I don't like you, it doesn't mean that I can't take the time to understand you, right? But that said, you guys, I hope I didn't scare anybody off immediately and be like, yo, I'm going to talk about death and I'm going to talk about this, that, and then you missed the whole thing. And it really wasn't about that necessarily. It was more about celebrating life, right? But, okay, I have gone over on my time. I told you if I still felt like I needed to speak, I would do so. I've already given you my recommendations. Once again, check out Toxic Town on Netflix. Check out The Big Flower Fight on Netflix. And Face Off is also, I believe, on Netflix. Or if you want to join me in checking out the newest season of Survivor, because that's coming out, that will be on Paramount Plus. So check those shows out. And then I don't know, you guys. I thank you for being here. Thank you for your support and for just existing in the world today. I appreciate you. And as ever, you guys, I truly hope that wherever you are in this great, wide, wonderful, crazy, mysterious, and wackadoodle world that we live in, that you are having a phenomenal morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is where you are. Much love, you guys, and I'll see you again soon, okay? Tell the people that you love them, and do it today. Don't forget. And I love you. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.